go ahead and let somebody on real quick who wants to share a quick thought, and then we're going to hear what the rest of Jason has to say. Brother Jamie, what's going on, my friend?
Hi.
What is happening today? My favorite people.
I know, all the good ones, right? Good to see you guys. I think that, I don't know if that was B-Dag, but like that last definition, I'm pretty sure is simply there because of people who don't keep the Sabbath, who would interpret that one verse to try to get out of what it's saying. Every other usage in the Greek of sabbatismos is talking about the literal Sabbath.
Right.
And so that definition is only added because of interpretation,
right?
Of the writers of that.
You know what, Jamie? That's a great observation that I thought of, because we got to be careful when we look up these commentaries and these definitions, these lexicons. They will give you they will define these Greek and Hebrew terms, but in some cases they will also ask input their interpretation of what that may probably mean. He's pointing to that as well, but he's not giving the true meaning of what sabbatismos actually is.
They're honest enough to make that sort of like an additional definition, but I guarantee you that last little line that he had on there that was saying modeled after the traditional Sabbath is simply there from an interpretation of position. There's nothing actually from the text that says that, but because of this verse, and we see that the rest in the three verses there, katapos and then sabbatismos there, it's using the term for a literal Sabbath rest. In between the sandwich of more of a spiritual rest idea that Joshua couldn't give them, but that Jesus will ultimately give us in the eschaton. And so this is where it can get tricky with these commentaries and seminaries.
That's right. That's exactly.
I just had a really quick. So is what I would see. The problem is Corey is a pseudo dispensationalist, and by that is what I mean is he'll use dispensational arguments that separate the church and Israel in a very severe way. That's why he's confused. Like one of your other guests said, they'll say stuff that contradicts other things they say, and they're just trying to get something to stick. And it's like, but like traditional Christianity, historically, people would say got stuff wrong, but like from the very beginning, they didn't have that hard separation. Like if he's always saying, give me one verse. No, he needs to show in the original context that somehow the things that define sin somehow suddenly change after the cross, or what after Jesus ascends, Paul changes it. I would go, okay, you want a verse that says the Sabbath is one of the commandments when it's talking about the commandments? Luke 20-56 demonstrates it. After Jesus dies, they go to prepare ointment, and then they kept the Sabbath according to the commandment. And then you read Paul and you read James in the New Testament, written well after Jesus' ascension, right? He refers to commandments. James 2, if you've broken one, you've broken them all. You see him quoting or referencing the 10 commandments, and that they're a set. And Paul quotes other 10 commandments. So the apostles, the writers of the epistles, the disciples, are referencing what God said at Sinai. So sometimes when they talk about the commandments, it's not merely talking about the 10 commandments. But if you went up to Paul and you asked, hey, when you say we should keep the commandments, are you talking about like the ones God said at Sinai? Do you think he would say no? No. And we see that if they kept the Sabbath after Jesus died, it means Jesus clearly never did away with it. And if that's true,
right,
then clearly them keeping it according to the commandment, when did it change? Does Paul have the authority to do that? No, Paul references the 10 commandments. So the onus is on the person saying it's because it's not mentioned. Well, yeah, of course it's not mentioned. They're just keeping it because obviously it's one of the commandments. This is him reading his position into the context, which is inappropriate because all the original Christians that received the new covenant by Jesus and established the churches were doing what God said, what Jesus taught. Go ye therefore into all nations, baptizing them, teaching them to observe all the things that I commanded you. And Jesus is God, and Jesus is the one who gave the law because he's one with the Father. So this is just inconsistent, terrible thinking. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I appreciate you, brother Jamie.